Assalamu alaikum everyone. How are you all doing, beta? Okay, now as we have almost completed East India Company, so for the past few classes we have been doing it. I would just like to recap something and then the end I'm going to discuss, right? So let's come on to it. Established in 1868, British gained control over subcontinent. This is something very important that we need to know, that how the Britishers were able to gain control over the subcontinent. Because this is one of the basic reasons that today we are what we are because of them. Okay. Now, we all remember Battle of Plassey took place. Mir Jafar was a traitor. Mir Jafar then became uh, in charge of he became the Nazim of Bengal. Then Mir Qasim took over. He felt that whatever Mir Jafar did was wrong, so he collected people, and then they went against the Britishers, and it was Buxar that was fought. But again, the Britishers were able to win, and we lost Buxar control of Bengal also. The battles fought, Anglo-Mysore battles were fought, and Mysore was a powerful state under the leadership of Hyder Ali. Hyder Ali was the father of Tipu Sultan, right? He fought the battles, he kept on winning the battles. Tipu Sultan was known as the Tiger of Mysore. We kept on winning under him also. And the Britishers really wanted to take over the power. So, and Mysore was the main hub. So, these people then lost. Then Tipu Sultan lost the fourth battle and he was defeated. Then the British took control of Mysore also. Then the Marathan wars were fought and the British were able to take over other lands, and British defeated them and annexed their territories to the Peshwas. Were asked to give pension and sent the Peshwa was given pension, sorry, and then they were set off to Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. The Anglo-Sikh war, the British wanted to bring the Sikhs under control. They wanted to take over, control of the Sikhs also because they were spreading. So they were able to do that. The Sikh chief surrendered, and Punjab was annexed by Lord Dalhousie. Maharaja Dilip Singh was pensioned off and sent to England. Now, the subsidiary alliance is introduced by the Britishers, where they have to pay an amount in return. They will be given protection, and when you have alliances with them, then without their permission, they cannot do anything. To surrender their control on foreign affairs, not allowed to make any alliance with other states. In return for all these, the British would give them protection from their rivals. Now, Lord Dalhousie introduced a system in 1852 in which he said that if you do not have a natural heir, so your land will be annexed by the Britishers, by the government. Now, this is another policy through which the Britishers were expanding their control. Now, in this way, Dalhousie annexed Satara, Sambalpur, Udaipur, Nagpur, Jhansi, and all. So the people were really frustrated, really upset. Now he said, I mean, the adopted son cannot get it, even if the father dies and you have a daughter or the wife is there, the land would be taken away by them. If the Britishers would feel that one is not capable enough to rule, then they will kick that person also out. So every possible way they were trying to expand their control in the subcontinent. Now, the policy of annexation, due to which they were able to annex Sindh also, the policy of annexation not only affected Indian rulers, but also those who were dependent upon these rulers, soldiers, crafts, people, nobles, scholars, zamindars, anything, priests, sorry. Due to these policies of the British, by the mid-19th century, there was no single Indian power who could challenge the British rule. See how they were able to expand their control. From 1750 to 1850, these wars were fought, to which they were able to expand their control in the subcontinent. Now, their vision was very clear. They were very clear, and to stay there, they introduced the education system, the law system, remember, and further systems. Now see, Now this Sindh was annexed in 1843. Then Lord Cornwallis, he introduced another system, that the permanent settlement, he wanted to be there. So he introduced a permanent settlement system in 1793. Now the lord or zamindars had to deposit a fixed amount of money in the state treasury. In return, they were recognized as the hereditary. In every possible way, they were trying to take our land, our money. In everything they were collecting, they were just taking away things. The revenue made the British financially secure. They were becoming powerful day by day. To get surplus revenue, the zamindar forced the peasant to work harder. Now see, it's a chain that is going on. The Britishers forced the zamindars, the Britishers were taking over everything from zamindars, right? Taking things from zamindars. They were asking a lot from zamindars, a lot of revenue. So what the zamindars were doing, they were putting pressure on the peasants, the farmers, to work harder and harder and increase the production. If the zamindar failed to pay the land deposit, they had to pay the land. They have to give the land. They have to sold away the land. Again, they were annexing. They were trying to take away a land from us. Now to stay there, to put more impact on the people of the subcontinent, the Britishers introduced railways. Now when railways were introduced, this was another way to tell us that we are here to stay. In this way, they were trying to impress us. They were trying to create some, obviously there were advantages of railways also, but see, why would you introduce good education system, or why would you try to make good roads, buildings, architect? Why? Because obviously when you have some goal, some vision, right? So they wanted to stay there. Now the railways in India, there was no particular system of transportation, right? Going from one place to another place or transporting goods. So the mode of transport was very weak. So they introduced railways through which everything became very fast. In India, the mode of transport was mainly bullocks, carts, camels. The British needed a better system. So they introduced railways, and they connected one place with another place. Hence, they put up the railway system in many different parts of the country. Through the railways, the railways were a great help to the British. Now it was easy for them to be available in every part. Okay, and then it was helpful for us also, because it was easy for us to commute, right? It became easy for other purposes, for business purposes, for education purpose, for different purposes. We were able to go from one place to another place in relevant, in a very less amount. Now a 7-mark question can come, then how it was helpful effects of railways. It enabled people to take under long distances. Okay? Long distances were covered. Long distances were covered. Sorry. Okay. Then it fostered commercialization. Sometimes it doesn't work. No, 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 no. Okay? And then it fostered commercialization of Indian agriculture, which adversely affected the self-sufficiency of the village economies in India. Now, what happened, that definitely it was good, but people who would use camel cart and, we would travel, so it was our business. So it was some people's earning. It got affected. Obviously, then people preferred going in that rather than in this, because from railways we were reaching at a place particular faster compared to that. The volume of India's export trade undoubtedly expanded. It increased, expanded, because through railways you were very easily, a good amount was transported from one place to another place. It provided employment opportunities to the people. Now we can travel to different places and we can get jobs. So people who were not able to get good jobs, had problem in employment in one state, they could go to another state for jobs. How they were able to expand control? It was the strength of the British. It was their vision, their goal. Now how can you say, first we can talk about battles we did, that this was the way, and through education, being empathetic towards people, introducing system, being very clear with what they want, they were able to expand their country. Now Indian weakness, we were not united. We would cheat onto each other. We were not ready to understand. Now, as we have done social reformers, what did you understand that people were not ready to accept anything? See, there is no harm in accepting a culture if it does not affect your Sharia. Be you whatever religion you belong to. Now, education is something that one should be ready to understand, to accept. But because Hindus and Muslims, they were not united. At one place there are Jats, there are Marathas, there are Sikhs, there are Muslims. We are so divided that British used the divide and rule policy to gain power over the subcontinent. And they were successful in that. Their vision was so clear. And then you know what, at one point they also said that if you want to come into administration, you need to be anglicized. Now this was another thing that they were using. Now here a weakness was already there, that we were not gaining education at one point. We were not ready to accept them in at a certain position. We were upset with them. We kept on fighting with them. So it was a lot of problem that was created. If we would have been united against the Britishers would not have been able to take over the sun. Some people still felt that, oh, it's good that Britishers are there, be it Hindus or be it Muslims. They were happy with them, so they supported them. Now Hindus were not happy with Muslim rule, so they wanted to rule, so they did not support Muslims. Muslims were not happy with Hindus, so they did not support them. So in this way we got divided, and this advantage the Britishers took. The policies the British used to establish control over the people of India, how they were able to control the new economic and administration policies. It was very easy for them. They introduced new system, new economic policies which were beneficial. So people in the beginning were happy. So some were happy, some were not. And the administrative policies, they said, just let me write the word here, to be anglicized. What is the possibility of change the color anglicized means to learn English. Now this is another way they said. They said if you want to come in the civil services, if you want to be a part of in the civil service, you need to learn, you need to learn English. Now again, we were not ready, but now this was something very wrong that the Britishers were doing with us, that they wanted us to be anglicized. Everybody didn't know English, so they said if you want to be, Now, those people who knew English, they were coming in the civil service, but they were not. They were not giving justice to them. Not a good post was given. Their land revenue policies helped them get large revenue in return. They forced the farmers to grow cash crop and providing the raw material for the factories in Britain. Now they were taking the material, our material, to Britain, and we were giving them. Remember Industrial Revolution, and through which our material was being used and they were transporting. First we were allowed to go and then we were stopped because taxes we had to pay. So there were many policies used by the Britishers, and because of a lack of unity, they took over. They defeated their rivals. They were able to. Why? Because we were not united. They bought raw material from Britain um, in low prices, and they used to come and sell in over here in high prices. They would take our material from subcontinent to Britain and to different countries and selling in higher prices. Again, who were getting benefit? The Britishers. All these measures helped the British establish their control over India and people. Our export was affected. In every place we were affected. Okay, so now we are, alhamdulillah, we are done with East India Company thoroughly. Inshallah, in the next class, I am going to discuss just past paper questions with you regarding a 14 and a 10 mark this time. A 14 and a 10 mark this time. A thorough explanation will be done, and now you all are coming to schools also, and inshallah it will continue. So any problem that you are facing here, you can ask teachers also when we are doing written work, when we are doing practice work. So you can take help over there also. Any problem you can write here also in the comment box, and I will try to help you here also. The best opportunity is that now we are meeting, so any problem you will be able to understand. So go through the recordings very well. So when you do not, if there is any confusion in writing the answer, so your teacher is there to help you. So she will guide you properly, and the answers are all here. Now see, we can ask you what was doctrine of lapse. See a 4 mark here. A 4 mark here, right? And who was Lord Dalhousie? A 4 mark. He was the one who introduced this system. In which year? In 1852. It is not written. Let me write 1852, so you don't face any problem. And I don't know why it's not working today, this thing. This pen is giving me a lot of problem today. $1852. Since the system was introduced in 1852 by Lord Dalhousie, why he introduced this system? To expand to annexed land. It was unjust. It was unjust. It was very unfair. Okay? And it's a 4 mark. You can do it. Who was? What was doctrine of lapse? 4 mark. Subsidiary alliances, 4 mark. Who was Tipu Sultan? 4 mark. Anglo-Sikh Wars. What was the second Anglo-Sikh War? Then you can come. Who was Maharaja Dilip Singh? Right? 4 mark. Anglo-Maratha War. How was Punjab annexed? How was Sikh annexed? Why was Sikh annexed? Sorry, Sindh annexed. I'm so sorry. Why was Sindh annexed? who was Hyder Ali, who was Tipu Sultan, who was Mir Qasim, who was Mir Jafar, what was Plassey, Battle of Plassey, what was Battle of Buxar, what was EIC, who was Aurangzeb. All these four markers, right? Why was East India Company interested in the subcontinent? Why British intervened in the matters of EIC? Why were the British able to expand their control in the subcontinent? 7 mark. Oh, Allahu Akbar. Forget it. It's not working. 7 mark. Yes, Alhamdulillah. Why were railways there? 7 mark. Okay, you will find a good answer in your book also. This is there from 1750 to 1850. The answer is in your textbook, Nigel Kelly. You look into there, any problem. Who was Lord Cornwallis? What was the permanent system that he introduced? What was the zamindari system? See, beta, everything is here. If you just go through the recordings, if you just read them properly, what do you mean by anglicized? Anglicized means that you need to learn English. Why we were asked to be anglicized? Because they said if you want to be a part of civil government job, you want to come into civil service, you want to be a civil servant, you need to learn English. Okay, Alhamdulillah, we are over with it. Thank you so much. Inshallah, in the next class, all possible questions will be discussed with marking scheme. Take care.